right now some powerful tips how you can get your new year 2025 started off on the proverbial right foot, right? Started off right. And it's a funny concept because many of us have over the years gotten to this practice of setting New Year's resolutions. And I'm cool with that. Sadly, the data shows that 80% of us that set certain New Year's resolutions on January 1st or thereabouts by February 1st, only a month later, 80% of us already just said, screw it, forget it, done with it, whatever. I'm not going to get to this goal. And that's it. So I personally don't set resolutions, but I set intentions for the year. I set specific goals. I actually, oh my gosh, Brooke and I had this amazing experience. My wife, Brooke, and I went to the Tony Robbins Date with Destiny program, and it is intense. It is 6 days and nights. Literally, it's like 16, maybe some days even 18-hour days where you are intense, just full immersion in this program. And one of the activities we did was goal setting, and we did 1, 3, and 5 year goals, and then some longer term 10 and 20-year goals, but 1, 3, and 5 year. And the reason for that is a lot of us just do a 1 year goal. And that's okay. We can have, in fact, I have a lot of 1 year goals for this year. But what often happens is we overestimate what we think we can do in 1 year. So we make up all these goals, some of them quite lofty, and we want to just do it in 1 year. And then when it doesn't happen, we're like super bummed and we're like, screw this. And that's this New Year's resolution things. We fall off the wagon. We just say, screw it, forget it, whatever. But the quote that often, not only Tony Robbins, but I've heard many others that are equally, both not only intelligent folks, but experienced in this goal setting, is that we often, as humans, it's pretty normal, pretty natural to overestimate what we think we can do in 1 year, but we drastically underestimate what we can do in 5 or 10 years. So I would encourage you, if you haven't done this, do a little exercise. Make 1 year goals, 3 year goals, 5 year goals, and maybe some 10 year goals. And then make, I would say, at least 3 times a year. Even better if you can revisit these monthly. I have these drawn up. My wife and I did this together. We actually had a date night, and it was like a couple hours long where we just went through each of our goals. I shared all of my 1, 3, 5, 10, and 20 year goals. She shared all of hers. And what was cool was at this event, we sat in different parts of the room. So I had no idea what she was writing. I had no idea what was happening in her corner. She didn't know what was happening in my corner. And it was really fun. We just had lots of breakthroughs. If you've never been, Date with Destiny every December, usually it's around the 6th through the 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that. Almost every year in Florida. Tony Robbins is there live every single day. It's amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. So what I want to share with you about that is that we can accomplish so much. In fact, even more than most of us feel like is possible, especially if we do these targeted goals, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10, 20 year. You can even have some that are 1 month goals because there's stuff that you can change in a month. I mean, literally, if right now, today, you decide, hey, in 30 days, I am going to improve both the number of hours in the cot, so to speak, sleeping per night, and I'm gonna do that over the next month. I'm gonna add an extra 30 minutes to my sleep schedule. Like, you could do that in a month, right? There's some other, food goals. You can eat more whole, natural, real foods, right? Less processed foods. You can significantly impact that in a month. Maybe you have a weight loss goal. You want to drop 5 pounds in a month. You can do that in a month. So there's maybe what you can do is you can set your 1 year goals or intentions, and then in order to get to that 1 year mark, you got to do something at month 1, month 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 11, and you got to be monitoring, right? Tony Robbins says this all the time. Like, if you don't write it down, you're not measuring it, how are you ever going to accomplish it? You've got to measure your progress. And so I would encourage you, we're still in January. It's the first 2 weeks of the year. If you didn't write down any goals yet, it's okay. You're human. That's all right. And if you wrote these lofty 1 year resolutions that you've already failed at, like, that's human too. Like I said, 80% of us by the 1st of February have already dropped our resolutions, said kind of screw it. but I'm going to share with you some powerful tips that have changed my life right now. Just a couple, not a lot. Don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but just a couple of things that are simple, that are powerful, and that can really set you off on the right foot this brand new year, 2025. So, are you ready? All right. So, first comes first. I love my philosophy with respect to health and especially healthy eating is to add more than subtract. Right? Many people are out there, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that. You guys and gals all know I really only say three things that you should really try to avoid with respect to food. Right? Number one, avoid the highly processed grains and flours. So highly processed grains, flours, whether they be gluten, non-gluten, corn, just the highly processed stuff, you got to try to limit that, avoid it. Number two, avoid the highly processed sugars. I mean, high fructose corn syrup, tip of the iceberg, but there's so many other sugars out there that we should be avoiding. We definitely should not be adding sugar to our food. Like if you're having a bowl of strawberries, don't put sugar on that. Come on. If you want something to sweeten it up a little bit, use that Oikos yogurt. They have one that's got 0 calories. It's sweetened with stevia. I think it's called Oikos Pro or Oikos Zero or something. They have a Pro version which has more protein, which is pretty cool. I usually try to pick that one up, Oikos Pro. Um, Protein in there. It has stevia, so it doesn't have these crap artificial sweeteners like NutraSweet or Sweet and Low, Splenda, stuff like that. And so avoid the highly processed sugars, avoid the highly processed flours, grains, whatever it is, highly processed grains, flours. And then number three is avoid the highly processed industrial, I call them industrial, the seed oils. Many people call them seed oils. These are things like soybean oil, like you got to avoid this stuff like the plague. Soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil, all of these that are highly processed, rice bran oil, there's 6 or 7 or 8 of them. Read Kate Shanahan's book. She did a great book on the seed oils. You got to avoid them like the plague. Basically, only use the oils that are totally natural and involve zero or next to zero processing. These are oils that you can just take from a fruit, like a coconut. You just squeeze the thing, you get it, coconut oil. You don't have to expose it to high pressure, high heat, high intense environments with things like bleaches, and then you got to deodorize it. I mean, it's crazy. It's actually, if you want to if you want to change your life forever and never have seed oils again, like just watch this video on YouTube that talks about how seed oils are manufactured and produced. It'll gross you out. It's disgusting. There's a reason why they have to bleach it and deodorize it at the end after they expose it to high heat, high pressure, all this other, just crazy environmental processes and industrial processes, I should say. But stick to the simple stuff. Olive oil. How do you get oil out of olives? Squeeze it, press it. So simple. So simple. Extra virgin olive oil, my favorite. Avocado oil I like to use for cooking because olive oil doesn't have a high set point with respect to the heat, and so you can't really cook with high temperatures. So avocado oil, I use that a little bit for cooking. Coconut oil as well. Those are kind of my three go-tos: olive oil, extra virgin, coconut oil, and of course, my favorite, extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil for cooking because it has that high set point for the heat, and you can use it in higher heat cooking. Like I spray it on my veggies before I throw some Parmesan on there once they've been cooking for a while, stuff like that. Or I just use good old-fashioned butter, ghee, or tallow. Like those are great as well. They taste so dang good. Oh my gosh, I hate to get off tangent, but I went out last night, took my wife on a date. That's one of my goals for the new year's, take her out on a date a little more often. Once a week is kind of the goal. So we hit it this week, which was amazing. I took her out to this place called Hoof and Vine. If anybody's ever heard of it, it's a great little steakhouse. And they just slap on some good old-fashioned butter on their meat and a couple other spices, and it is so good. So good. My wife and I both had steak last night, and it was out of this world. So that's a thing, but add more than subtract. Add more than subtract. Avoid those big three, which I mentioned. And if you can, add one new healthy food a week. Maybe it's a vegetable, maybe it's a fruit, maybe it's a different protein you hadn't tried, maybe it's a certain kind of fish you just hadn't tried in a while. Like whatever, add one new food per week. You can do that, right? Go to a farmer's market, go to the perimeter of the grocery store and look for a fruit or vegetable that you've never seen before. Pull up your phone, look it up, grab a recipe, and just grab it and use it. And it's actually so much fun. It is so much fun. I call it eating by the rainbow. Like the more colorful, the better. And in Hawaii, which I just came back, I was there for almost a month over the holidays. It was amazing. I kind of disappeared a little bit from social media and I took a month off of podcasting. I'm so sorry, but I just needed the refresh, regroup, the family time, and it was priceless. And one of the things I got to see in the local markets is all the amazing fruit. My kids were saying, "Hey, can we get star fruit more often? What about lychee?" And these other, if you guys know them, you know them. If you don't know them, get to know them. These are amazing fruit. So incredible, and it's just so fun to try new things. So add more than subtract. Try a new healthy food each and every week. And like Hippocrates said way back when, thousands of years ago, let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. It's just so important, and really just boils down to eating real, single ingredient whole foods. Like make that the base of everything that you eat. If you have to have a snack once in a while, I mean, go simple. What I try to say to folks is avoid food emergencies. So if you start your day with a healthy, just power packed with protein. Protein is the best thing to start your day with, whether it be with me. I love to eat eggs in the morning. It's just one of those things. Cholesterol, you should not worry about. I'm telling you, what I grew up with was an absolute lie proposed by Ansel Keys, who was way off the mark. He used all these studies and erroneously interpreted them and just messed us all up. It made us think butter was bad. It made us think eggs were bad. I mean, all these things. It was crazy. It made us think meat was bad. I mean, just it's craziness. And it's all been disproved that Ansel Keys was up to no good. Um, I think he had a good heart, and I think he was trying to do what he thought was right, but he was not following the right cues, and his research wasn't done well. It was not done well at all. If you want to read the whole story on it, there's lots of stuff out there on it. I can message me and I'll get you some of the nitty gritty. It's actually super interesting to read about that history, about how we got those guidelines about cholesterol and avoid, meat, red meat, and all these things. They're crazy and they're absolutely false. But in any case, this year, eat whole foods, add more than subtract, eat a new healthy food each and every week, and make sure you stay hydrated. Because when you do, you often can prevent unnecessary snacking. Because a lot of the times in this little area of the brain called the hypothalamus, there's a signal that hits there when we're thirsty, but sometimes it gets crossed. It gets crossed, and we interpret it as that we are hungry and we're actually just thirsty. And so if we drink a full tall glass of water instead of nibbled on some bag of chips that might be available or some candy bar, I used to carry Snickers in my backpack, in my MERS or whatever, my fanny pack, because I would have these food emergencies and I'd reach for a Snickers because that's how I grew up. Snickers really satisfies, right? That was the mantra back in the day. And I can tell you right now, I haven't had a Snickers bar in more than a decade. My wife used to give them to me on my birthday every single year in my stocking. She finally stopped because I hadn't touched them, and a year later they were still there, and we were throwing them out. And that was kind of gross. In Hawaii, everything gets kind of squishy. And anyway, too much information. But what I've learned is that if you stay hydrated, you will often not get those hunger pangs, and you won't feel hungry. In the afternoon when you're kind of feeling that low, you're like, "Ah, crap." Well, this year, instead of reaching for some snack, drink a tall glass of water. And if you want to even spice that up a bit, throw in, a couple squeezes of lime or lemon, or add some salt, some Himalayan sea salt, or if you want to grab some salt packet like LMNT. I've used those for many years. They're great. And you can hydrate, get some electrolytes as well. And you won't feel like you need that snack. But if you do need a snack, and maybe it's been many hours since you've eaten and you want a snack, try to use something simple that's high protein or that's healthy fat that doesn't have a lot of carbs. Maybe a handful. In Hawaii, I would do macadamia nuts. Love macadamia nuts. Or here, when I'm on mainland USA, cashews are kind of my go-to. I like cashews. Don't get the roasted ones. The roasted ones are often roasted in a seed oil, like soybean oil, safflower, sunflower, whatever, canola. All these bad oils, most oftentimes, they're roasted in. So be careful. Just try to get the dry ones, or if you want to go for the salted, that's cool too. Watch out for the roasted because they often have seed oils. Healthy snacks, in my humble opinion, are things like a handful of berries, raspberries, blueberries, my favorite. avocado. This is my healthy snack that's a fatty, kind of satiating snack. Just eat a half or even a whole avocado, sprinkle some salt on it. You're done. Amazing snack. Or a handful of nuts. And if you want to spice it up and you want to do like a handful of nuts and like one little square of a dark chocolate, more than 70% cacao, and that's got good ingredients, I'm cool with that too. There's actually some benefits to cacao as well. So healthy snacks, make sure you stay hydrated. Ba-boom! This is something simple you can do, and it is so easy, and it will move the needle quickly. You'll notice it very, very quickly. And that number on the scale will not be going up if you're doing these practices, probably will be going down. It's pretty amazing. Start your day with healthy protein. And if you need to snack, first drink a full glass of water. And if it must be, single ingredient whole food snacks are the way to go. Um, the next thing I'm going to say, which I hope you did during the holidays, is maybe you got a chance to eat a little bit more slowly. You got to hang out with family and friends, and so you weren't stuffing your face the whole time like I used to as a teenager. Like I would just hit the party and do, I would go back for seconds, thirds, sometimes even fourths, and I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would just sit down and just eat, and people used to call me the human garbage disposal. And I still am a healthy eater, if you will. I love to eat. I love to eat lots of great food. But I love to communicate and socialize and hang out and spend time with you, because that secret sauce, that vitamin C that I often call the C for connection, is so healthy as well. And if we're connecting with people over our meals, whether it be our family, friends, colleagues, whatever, typically we slow down a bit, right? Because we shouldn't be just gobbling up our food super fast and checking our phone and watching the TV. The more we're distracted, not paying attention, we tend to eat more. But the more we connect and we're present with our meal and with the folks around us, when we're present and we slow down a bit, guess what? We tend to eat less, and it's more enjoyable. We get to connect with somebody over a meal. It's one of my favorite things. We did this last night, my wife and I, as we went out on a date, like I mentioned, and good times, good times. So eat more slowly. We talked about this already. Eat more protein. Start your day with protein. Make sure every meal is packed with protein, for crying out loud. At least 20 grams, if not 25, 30 grams of protein at every meal. My personal goal is the bare minimum is 100 grams of protein. And I would say for all adults, that should be the bare minimum. Right now, my personal goal is 150. In this new year, I have a couple of goals. One of them is I want to take 100-pound dumbbell in each arm. I'm not up to this quite yet. I want to be able to bench press by the end of the year 100 pounds in each arm. Right now, I'm pushing 70. And so I'm not there, but I'm going to be there by the end of the year, pushing up 100 pounds in each arm. And I'm not a big guy. I'm 155 pounds right now. And I want to be maybe 160, but add just pure muscle. And so more protein is the way to do it. My personal goal, 150 grams per day. So that's literally 50 grams per meal. I would say for most of us, we should be shooting for at least 100 grams. So it's like 30 grams a meal. And I'm telling you, if you don't monitor it, like Tony Robbins said, and I shared at the beginning, if you don't follow that, you're not keeping track, you're not going to hit it. When I started keeping track, that's when I was mind blown, awakened to the fact that I was missing the mark. I was not achieving my protein goal. And guess what? I was not building the muscle mass that I wanted. And that's why I've changed completely my approach to meals. And I start with a banger of protein, 50 grams of protein. And then I have fruits and vegetables as well, and lots of hydration. But I started with that 50 grams of protein. All right, another kind of fun thing when we're adding more than subtracting, like I was mentioning, is go around the perimeter, spend most of your time shopping around the perimeter. That's where the fresh foods, the vegetables, the fruits, the fresh proteins, the fish, the meat, grass-fed and finished, all these amazing sources of nutrition are on the perimeter of the grocery store. So hang out mostly on the perimeter. If you have to dive into the center of the store, make sure you have a shopping list and only get what's on the list. Like if you need a spice, you got to go in there and get your Himalayan sea salt or your ginger or whatever. That's cool. But don't go into the cereal aisle. Don't go into the, all these just prepackaged, whatever it is, granola bar aisle. I don't know, all these different, like the chip aisle. Like just avoid all those aisles. Right? And shop with a list so that you're targeted and don't shop hungry. I know when I do this at Costco, I buy all kinds of random stuff. Usually it's kind of healthy, but sometimes it sits in the fridge for a while and I'm like, well, what the heck? Like, Why did I buy this? This was crazy. Well, I bought it because I was hungry. So don't shop hungry and make sure you have a list and stay mostly on the perimeter of the grocery store. That's the outside. All right. Another simple tip, which kind of a funny one. My son, many of you know, is now away from us. Our 18-year-old moved out a couple of months ago, and he's in Arizona right now, and he's serving a mission, and he's doing lots of good work. And one thing that's been kind of crazy for him, and it sounds funny because maybe for another kid that's 18, this might not be crazy at all, but he's like, Dad, it's weird. Like, people are buying us food because they want to help us, they want to show their support for us, but often it's fast food, and I'm just not used to eating fast food because, like, in our family, we rarely eat fast food. If we're traveling, we might hit something relatively healthy like Chipotle or something like that. It's not amazing. They still have some not amazing ingredients, but they're pretty healthy. We would hit that once in a while, but we just don't go to fast food hardly at all. So he's like, it's weird. People are buying us food. They're trying to be nice, but it's like tons of fast food. And I'm just not, it's not my thing. So it's been interesting. We've been kind of trying to work on strategizing how he can, still do his best and eat the best he can. And he's got a portable set of dip bars that he has with him, and he does pull-ups on the door frame and push-ups and like all this kind of stuff. His goal is to come back with 10 or more pounds of muscle, and so we're excited about that. But eat less processed foods and eat less of the fast foods would be another goal you could easily set for yourself. Um, One of my favorites. This came in a podcast a couple of years ago when I talked to Benjamin Bickman, Dr. Bickman. He's out of Provo, Utah. He's like one of the premier scientists on it's kind of cool stuff. He studies what's called the adipose cell or the adipocyte, the fat cell, and he's brilliant. He's written a couple of books. His initial one was called Why We Get Sick. If you've never read it, go ahead and grab it. Cool book, great insights. Benjamin Bickman, um, he gave me this phrase. He's like, don't drink your fruit, eat it. In other words, don't buy fruit juice, by and large. Like fruit juice, a lot of it, they extract all of the fiber, right? It's not real thick and pulpy and stuff. And it's just the juice, it's just the carbs. He's like, don't. And I used to be guilty of this. My pediatrician, when my kids were young, was like, buy them apple juice. It's great. It'll fatten them up. It's sweet. They love it. And, it also rots their teeth and gives them this big sugar high. And then they're cranky later. Like, I haven't bought apple juice in years, but I literally used to buy apple juice by the gallon at Costco. Remember how I don't know if they still sell it there, but literally came in a gallon jug, and then I'd use the jug later to put water in to rinse myself off after surfing. Anyway, funny old story, but rarely, I should say, I rarely buy any kind of juice. I do buy pomegranate juice once in a while because there's some just incredible benefits, and I'll just drink a little like shot of it, pomegranate juice once in a while. But by and large, I don't drink my fruit. Like Dr. Bickman said, he said, eat your fruit. That way you get the whole thing, the whole package, the whole nutrient package, all the fiber, like apple, for example, eat the whole darn apple, like everything, not the seeds, but what I mean? Don't just squeeze it and do apple juice or buy apple juice. Just eat the whole apple, right? And there's this thing, if you want to be as clean as possible and eat the least pesticide laden ones, you can do what they call that. There's a list that you can just Google online. It's called the Dirty Dozen. These are the fruits you want to avoid eating that aren't organic. So these are like the berries, for example, because non-organic berries are like super highly laden with pesticides. So that's the Dirty Dozen. It says the ones that you should try to get organic. And then the Clean 15 is the list of those that, whether you can buy organic or not, don't stress it too much. Like if it's not organic, like a banana or something, like don't worry about it because you're throwing away the peel, right? Or an avocado, you're not eating the peel, or pineapple, or, an orange, or things like that where you can peel that outer protective layer away and you don't eat it. Like, don't stress. If you want to save a few bucks and not buy organic, I'm cool with that. I get it. I got 6 kids. It's very expensive, literally thousands of dollars a month to feed them. And so I may not buy organic of everything, and I can't even access organic of everything, but I try to follow those guidelines on the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 16 or Clean 15. That's ewg.org, Environmental Working Group .org, and you can find that stuff out, ewg.org. Another kind of tip I have for the new year, make this a goal, and it doesn't have to be every night, but just try to cook at home more often. And actually, my son, we actually just sent him a crock pot because he wants to do this. He's away from home for the first time. And like I said, a lot of people are trying to be really nice to him and they're just buying him fast food. He's like, I don't want to always eat fast food. It's crazy. So we literally sent him a crock pot. Because we have some dishes at home. We have this Hemingway chili that's pretty cool. Lots of protein, lots of ground beef in there and whatnot. And so he's going to start cooking a lot of stuff at home with this new crock pot that we bought him, a couple other little things that are going to help him do this. And it's kind of fun. So eat more at home this year. And whether it be a meal with your family, with your wife, your kids, your significant other, whatever, that's actually really, really helpful for your whole global health, not just your nutrition, but actually your mental health. There's several studies that have come out. In fact, there's actually one that came out of Utah about eating dinner together as a family. It decreases obesity rates. And it's like, what the heck? Why would they do that? Well, you're eating home, so your chances are it's less processed, right? You maybe cooked a home cooked meal. You're hanging out with family, so you're having that social time, the connection, the vitamin C for connection. Hopefully, you're slowing down a little bit because you're chit-chatting and having a good time connecting with your food, connecting with the people around you. And there's this data now, actually these data, there's quite a bit of it, that shows that when you eat at home and when you eat with family, you actually tend to not gain weight in the way that you would if you just watching something on TV or playing with your cell phone while you're eating, whatever, you're distracted, you tend to eat more. So cool little tip, eat more at home. All right, to round it out, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my favorite health tip, which is move more. Just move, make it simple. Like right now, talking to you, I'm jumping up and down. I'm at my standing desk. If you can see me on YouTube, I have a little ball, one of these thingies that I stand on. I have this other one over here in the corner. You can see it there. It's like a little surfboard. It's a balanced surfboard thing, and it's cool. It helps me just stay active throughout the day, and it's so much fun. I do a lot of my work standing. If you can, get yourself a standing desk, or just like this desk right here is a regular desk. It's just got stuff piled on top of it. I have my computer on a bunch of books, like the one from William Davis called Super Gut. I have Peter Attia's Outlive. I got Fat for Fuel, Joseph Mercola. I got Young Forever, Mark Hyman. All these books are stacked up. I got my computer on top of it. And I've read all these books. These are all great books. And, I love all these authors. They're great guys. And in fact, all these guys, yeah, they're all physicians. In fact, Jamie Seaman's book is on there, Hard to Kill. She's a physician as well. So I got all these books, and right now I've read them all. So I'm using them to prop my computer up, so I can do this standing desk thing and talk to you guys and have fun and dance. And so move more, whatever it is, incorporate a standing desk, do a post-meal 3-minute, maybe 6-minute little movement time, play 1 or 2 songs and just move in place, jump around, do some dancing. We do this a lot, especially right now. We're in Utah this week. I think it's 9 degrees outside right now. And so it's cold. You don't want to necessarily go for a walk. I mean, it's fun. I actually went for a walk with my son today, did a little walk and talk, but it was cold out there. Like we came in after 30 minutes, our hands were frozen, our feet were frozen. We were geared up. We had boots on and gloves and the whole works, but even in the winter, move more. And you can do that simply a lot of ways. Standing desk, do your dance party after meals, 1 song, 2 songs, 3 to 6 minutes. In fact, I shared with you this before in another podcast that, the American Heart Goal is 30 minutes a day. Move your body 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day. Well, you could do that all at once, but a lot of times people struggle with that, right? I got to isolate 30 minutes in my busy day. Well, here's a simpler way. Do 10 minutes 3 times a day. After each meal, just do 10 minutes. And actually, what's interesting is when you do it, the 10 minutes after the meal, go for a walk or do your dance party like we often do in the Hemingway household. It's actually more effective in those 10-minute increments than it is when you do it 30 minutes altogether. And this is data. I'm not just making this stuff up. If you want the link, Google it or message me, I'll send it to you. But super cool stuff. Like you can't make this stuff up. Move more. You'll be happier. You'll smile more. You'll have more energy. I mean, I work at a standing desk for this reason because it just vitalizes and invigorates me, and I can move and I can think and I can have fun. I can turn on a song and dance if I want to during the day. So every hour while you're at work, if you can also do like a 1 or 2 minute break where you maybe do a little dance, play a song, drop down, do some burpees or air squats or I like to do the plank and do that for a couple of minutes, like whatever it is, every hour, try to do something to move your body. And I promise you, it's not hard. Start small. Maybe do 1 minute every hour while you're at work. Drop down and do a minute a plank. I mean, 1 minute a plank. Like if you have to be on your knees, that's cool. Just do a minute. Or do air squats for 1 minute. Or my wife loves the burpee. I personally don't love doing burpees, but I'd rather just go back there on the door frame and do pull-ups or something. But whatever it is, move your body for 1 minute every hour. Start there, do your 10 minutes after meals, and you will be crushing it before long. I'm telling you, this stuff is so powerful. And lastly, I want to round this out is with your sleep. You got to really shoot for improving your sleep. And it took me decades and decades to actually appreciate my sleep. I mean, you can imagine, going through medical school and residency and in my early years of practice, and just I did not value my sleep. I use that Cure song mantra, right? 415 Dream or whatever. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And you can't do that. In fact, if you don't sleep, you're going to die sooner. That's a guarantee. It's actually been shown to be on par with many carcinogens, the lack of sleep. So I've done many sleep podcasts. You can go back and revisit those. I actually have at least one whole chapter in this book here that I wrote, Preventable, 5 Powerful Practices to Avoid Disease and Build Unshakable Health, talking about sleep. You cannot wait to sleep when you're dead. And if you want to get techie, you want to grab one of these watches that monitors your sleep, it's pretty fun too. But I can tell you right here between your ears, if you had a good night's sleep. Because you feel good. So try to get 7 to 8 hours in the cot every night, supine and resting, because I promise you, you won't regret it. And if you can pay attention throughout the day to your circadian rhythm, right? Your natural rhythm, get outside in that first couple hours before 9 a.m. if at all possible. Huberman even talks about this. My hat goes off to him because he's a bright guy and he's doing a lot of stuff, but he doesn't forget the simple, powerful things like paying attention to your diurnal and nocturnal rhythm, your circadian rhythm, and most powerfully, just get your butt outside for a couple of minutes before 9 a.m. Expose yourself to natural light. And that will actually be one of the most powerful tips to help you sleep well at night. So I promised you I wouldn't say a lot of things to avoid, right? We already did the big 3 with respect to food. Most of the stuff is stuff you can add to your life, whether it be a new food, a new colorful fruit or vegetable each week. All these simple practices we talked about. One thing I'm going to say with this year is to avoid toxins in your life. And maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's some other drug, or maybe it's even something prescription, whatever. Work with your doctor to try to, be able to limit exposure to toxins. And maybe it's not even a toxic food or chemical like alcohol. Alcohol is a poison no matter how we used to think, oh, a little bit's good for you and it's, going to help with healthy cholesterol levels. Well, actually, we've looked at that again and again, and we've come to the conclusion that it's just a toxin. And we're trying to talk ourselves into it being healthy. It's not really healthy. If you want to get the antioxidant properties, you can have some fruit. You can have some berries, right? Or you can buy a supplement if you want to. I'm into eating the whole fruits, but you don't have to drink wine. If you want to, that's fine, but just keep it on a low level, not more than a glass at a time, and try to, it's still a poison. If you enjoy it, I'm cool with that, but just try to limit it and know that it's still a poison and it's not going to make you healthier. It's simple. The data shows it. So avoid the toxins in your life, whether it be a food or like poison, like alcohol or other things, and try to avoid other things. Maybe it's a toxic person. Maybe it's a toxic relationship. Maybe it's a toxic job. Maybe I had a pretty toxic job for a while. And guess what? I'm not doing it anymore. And I'm so much happier. Anyway, I'm going to actually share a little bit about that particular story coming up in 2 weeks at Align in Scottsdale, Arizona. So if you want to see me live, you want to hear more about that, you want to have me sign your book Preventable, give you a hug, take a picture with you, I would love to do that. I'll be there the 22nd through the 26th. The event is the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Like I said, if you want to grab a VIP ticket, there's still a couple available. You can have dinner with me on the 22nd. And once again, a black tie event, I believe on the 25th, on the Saturday. It's going to be amazing. So go to Scottsdale, see me, see Brooke, a lot of other super cool people. I can't even mention them all because there's literally a dozen of high-powered, amazing people. So you got to go to the website, Align Events Live, or follow me, Dr. Thomas Hemingway, or my wife, Brooke Hemingway, half dozen, to hear all about it. It's amazing stuff. So I just want to thank you for being here. You're here. You made it. 2025. It's a brand new year. It's exciting. Oh my gosh. I'm so pumped. I have 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, some 10 and even 20-year goals, and I'm revisiting them on at least a monthly basis. My wife and I have this set up. We have a date night, and we actually look at our goals. It sounds kind of corny and cheesy, but how else are you going to get there? You got to remind yourself. You got to have an accountability partner. And I hope that you'll take these couple things I shared with you and take them to heart. Choose a couple. You don't have to choose all of them, but choose a couple of things that you're going to do this year to not only be healthier, be stronger, be sharper, but be more happy, be more connected, enjoy your life, feel more fulfilled. So many cool things you can do. Keep following me, Dr. Thomas Hemingway, the podcast. I love that you're here. Make sure you drop a review. I read all of those. In fact, I read somebody's today. I'd love to see that. I'd love to give you a hug in Scottsdale coming up. Make sure you're following me because I'm going to have my own individualized, personalized, very cool, professionalized, and it's going to be targeted especially at the individual. This is precision health at its best. My concierge practice is opening in a couple of weeks. And if you want to get on the wait list, you can do that. Just hop on over to my website, thomashemingway.com or drthomashemingway.com. Either of those places, hit the join the wait list and we'll send you more info. But until next time, aloha.